Yeah, I'm from a flyover city where we fly out to cities.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Downtown Dish. I am your host, Katie Schamberger. Thank you so much for joining me. We have got another packed episode coming up. You are going to hear this week from George Costello, CEO of Union Station, get an update on their reopening. We're also going to chat with Nick Vella, who created a brilliant carry-out pizza concept right in his house. And we're also going to check in with Shay Moore, who's got some important news from 18th and Vine and the American Jazz Museum. Big thanks to our partners this week and every week for making the Downtown Dish happen. Downtown Council, KC Streetcar, Kansas City Downtown Neighborhood Association, and Lynchpin Ideas. And last but certainly not least, we are so thrilled to have music again this week from the one and only Sauce. We used his music last week, loved it, so glad to share another song with you. You can get his music on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. One of his newer songs is available from 90.9 The Bridge, and I urge you to connect with him online. He is good people to know. Let's dive into this week's episode. Hey, I'm coming to you from outside this week. Let's kick off our announcements with a lot of updates from our friends at Strange Days Brewing Company in the River Market. They have been doing such a great job the last few weeks staying busy with curbside ordering, pairing with other local food brands to offer different Saturday night date packages, for example. And I want to call your attention to their newest package, which is perfect for summer. It is the beer float package. Now, before you make a face, have you had a beer float? Because they're the greatest thing ever. And in Strange Days beer float package, you're going to get their Mole Dolce Milk Stout, 1 can of River Key Dry Stout, a can of their Opa's Shifty Helles Bock, and the icing on the cake, terrible metaphor, Betty Ray's ice cream. Plop that ice cream in that beer, I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. Also wanted to let you know that the Strange Days Tap Room did open just yesterday, so check out their Facebook page for their weekend hours and their current protocol. And one last piece of news, they have new neighbors. They're at 316 Oak Double Tap, which is a brand new virtual reality arcade and pub, now taking reservations right there in that same space. Check them out. Let us know what you think. Well, it is a big week for one of Kansas City's favorite landmarks, Union Station, and I am so glad to have Union Station CEO and President George Costello here with us on the Downtown Dish. George, how are you?
I'm doing great. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. So, big week. Let's just catch everybody up in case they are unaware. Union Station did begin the reopening process this week, correct? Can you kind of give us the scoop what's going on?
We opened up Science City on Wednesday, and it was a glorious day. You know, we was so happy to see people back under the clock and greeting families and kids. And it was the first day, you know, we just spent $8 million to open up a new children's museum. Mm-hmm. And it was to open on March 14th, the day that we closed. So we had this grand opening for nobody. And yesterday was the first day and little kids were having a blast. So finally, after 12 weeks, we had a chance to see happiness again.
I love it. Take us through Union Station. What else is going on? How's the dining scene looking to start? Pierpont's, Harvey's. What's going on there? Parisi Coffee.
You know, Union Station has turned into a very unique ecosystem in the heart of the Crossroads.
Yes.
It's everything that's in the Crossroads in one building.
Yes.
You know, just entertainment, fun, right there, and air conditioning.
Yeah.
$1 million a year electric utility bill, so everybody can feel comfortable. So we're slowly rebirthing. You know, we We opened 20 years ago for Science City, and here we are again, another reopening 20 years later. But we have so many tenants. We have the chamber, and we have Kansas City Area Development Council. We have the election board for the post office, the train station, and great, unique, individual entrepreneurial restaurants as Harvey's and the new hip fun quick takeout at Harvey's Whistle Stop that we put in place to design so that when we had all these young kids here, parents could come and get food quick and enjoy a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And then, of course, when they were done with their kids, they'd be finished, and then they'd go into Pierpont's at the most beautiful bar and drink all afternoon long after a day in Science City without their kids.
Right.
But, and then, of course, the Piazza has the best coffee shop, and that's Parisi's. And, a lot of people don't even know we have got that really, really cool chocolate conventionnaire, which is, Rocky Mountain chocolate. So we're dealing with a lot of social distancing apples. They're the best apples in the world. You got your stick. You don't have to worry about it. So we're doing okay. And then we've got the concessions from the movie theater and many other places. So it's been a unique 12 weeks. But it was great to reopen on Wednesday.
George, let's talk too, because I know when people think of Union Station, because of the wonderful work that you all have done the last few years, what a hub it's become for events and traveling exhibits. And I know I spent a lot of time there leading up to the Super Bowl. So thank you, just random, for putting all that together. That was incredible. But how, I'm sure the events landscape, of course, has changed a little bit. What's going on that front?
When you consider Union Station, we consider it a three-legged stool. One of the legs is these great tenants, about 150,000 square feet of offices. The other one are all of the attractions, such as Science City and all the touring exhibitions. And then the last one is rental, because we have the quintessential ballroom in Kansas City where all the big events are happening, and in our North Festival Plaza that holds close to 2,500 people. And then we have close to another 7 unique rooms that go anywhere from 40 people up to 2,500. So that part of our business is quite unique, and we're reevaluating and re-putting it together and finding ways. One, we have the greatest social distance location inside Grand Plaza, because you can keep people 6 feet away from a table and you'll still have 500 people in there. And it'll be beautiful, and an air conditioning. A few years ago when we built that really new cool bridge that connects to the parking garage to assist us with streetcar, because so many people now come down to Union Station Park and ride the streetcar. We also, thanks to Mike Haverty, the former chairman of Kansas City Southern, invested in us to build the beautiful green space in the back. So we have Haverty Yards. So last week we had a Saturday of Love, and we had outdoor weddings, and it was beautiful. And when you get out there, that's where we had that really very amazing liquid art that turned many people onto that area, especially in the crossroads, because it ends up being kind of the front lawn to the crossroads and becomes our backyard. But it's so quiet back there, and it's green, and it's peaceful, and that even when the trains go by, you really don't feel it or hear it unless somebody's getting ready, and then the train pulls this whistle to say congratulations. But we're starting to do that, and we're going to pivot and do more unique outdoor events out there.
That's awesome. And I did want to drop just a fun random fact for you. I was so very close to picking that gorgeous Jarvis Hunt room for my own wedding. My gosh, it's mesmerized me ever since. But yeah, definitely want to reiterate to anyone who might be thinking of getting married out there, Union Station, don't go anywhere else.
Well, thank you. And we're also seeing people really want unique weddings. And we have the Arvind Gauntlet Planetarium, and we've been renting that out nonstop because it's a 360-degree dome. And we put all the beautiful celestial up there, and people get married in outer space. It's SpaceX. So we're constantly trying to create and unique and trying to make sure that all those entrepreneurs like Harvey's and Pierpont's are there. And we're very fortunate that we have that outdoor center place where you can have dinner and lunch and a beautiful 90-foot ceiling, so you don't have to worry about social distancing or air problems or anything.
Right.
It's a little bit nicer than eating in a parking lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, George, I am so glad. I'm so glad you're here to spread the word. Union Station is reopened. I know that you guys do a wonderful job online. Is the website the best place for people to kind of stay up to date if, as things continue and maybe more of those outdoor events are put on the calendar?
Unionstation.org is the best way, but also like us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. We have over 300,000 people that follow us, and they really engage, and that's how our digital concerts did so well. So we want people to come back to Union Station, and in a few weeks we'll be announcing an exciting touring exhibition that we'll be bringing to Kansas City. We had to let Vikings go because we couldn't get it from Denmark. But now we've got something unique for everybody, and be looking out front. You'll be seeing something big going on. So by July 1, we'll have a new exhibit out there, and it'll be pretty spectacular.
Well, George, I hope you always have a seat at our Downtown Dish table, so maybe we could check in with you later this summer. That would be so wonderful. But thank you for being here with us today, and congratulations on such a momentous week.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon, and let's make it happen. We stay Kansas City strong, and we will.
Absolutely. Kansas City strong. I love that. Thanks again, George.
See you. Bye. Thanks.
Trying to protect ourselves, officer.
All right, picture this. It's lunchtime. You're in a park. There's live music playing. Sun's on your face. Sounds pretty amazing, right? That opportunity is coming your way starting next week, June 17th, with the kickoff of the Garment District Grooves concert series. Now, this concert series is going to be held the third Thursday of every month there at Garment District Place Park at 8th and Broadway. Performances will be from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. And next week, you will be hearing Ken Eberhardt and Deanna Ray performing live. Feel free to bring a lunch, or they will have food trucks on hand. Next week, you'll see Taste of Brazil if you'd rather buy a meal. Hope to see you there.
Take them to church.
All right, continuing on with this week's Downtown Dish. I don't know if you've heard about what maybe is the coolest pizza spot in Kansas City right now, Observation Pizza. But here to give us the scoop is founder Nick Vella. Nick, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Nick, take us back. So you are chef de cuisine at the Savoy at 21C. And I know this idea for Observation Pizza started as a result of the pandemic a few weeks ago. Take us back and tell us how you got started.
Yeah, so basically, I just happened to be making pizzas. Like, I used to work at a pizza restaurant. Like, my first head chef job was at a Sicilian restaurant that we focus on pizzas. So, like, I've done it, professionally and for fun and all that. And I just happened to make pizzas one night for my girlfriend and roommate. And I was like, you know what? Like, this is something that I think people would want to do. And I lived right next to Observation Park. And I was like, it's like a way to maybe have an outing, like go with your, quarantine partner or buddy or whatever and go sit in a park and have some pizza. So it's like kind of how it started. And then I thought it was going to be just like some friends and just started real small. Like I did like 8 dough balls I thought it would sell in like 2 days. It ended up selling the first day. So then like I increased the batch size and then until eventually it was literally like the only restriction was how much dough I could fit in my cooler, like in my home fridge, because this all started from me just doing this out of my house.
Okay. And I'm glad you brought this up because you started in your house and now you're in new digs. So tell us about that.
Week, I moved. Well, this will be my second week. Last week, at the beginning of the week, I moved into the Bower, which they have a small kitchen that they use for caterers and stuff for their events. They have weddings and all that stuff. So right now, for this whole month, they have nothing booked. So I had some friends who knew the property manager and stuff like that, and they reached out and connected us, and I was just like, hey, I could, rent that space and, maybe get a little something for now until, so it's basically we're on like a week to week agreement, and if there's events or whatever, I just have to like get my stuff out and clean so that they can do the events, and then I can come back.
Okay.
So it's not a long-term thing. It's definitely temporary. Once events start ramping up and stuff, I'll have to stop, or when I go back to the Savoy, it'll probably be around the same time, so it'll probably work out.
Sure. And it's all pickup right now, correct?
Yeah, correct. Right now it's all pickup. I'm having no issues filling the full day with pickup, so people are willing to come pick it up. So, I mean, I feel like I would have to, like, it would just add cost to, like, the pizzas. I'd have to charge a delivery fee and probably pay someone to deliver. So I feel like right now, if I'm doing the max and people are willing to come pick up, then, like, might as well just, like, not do that for now. If we come to where, like, I'm not selling out or something and, like, we need to figure out a way to get more pizzas sold, then I might start doing delivery. And case by case, if someone, like, messages me and they're like, I don't have a car or this, I'm like, well, I can put you on the end of the day, and when I'm going home, I'll bring you a pizza or something.
Awesome. Now, so tell me, because I may have this wrong, but it looks like from your Instagram, at Observation Pizza, by the way, do you put up your menus weekly? Is that how it works? And then people can just place orders every day until sellout, if that happens?
The scheduling system is supposed to work, ideally. You can book 7 days out. So, like, Wednesday for next week just opened up today.
Okay.
And usually I'll try to update the schedule, like, on a Sunday. So, like, this week, the menu was what was released last week. And then this Sunday, I released the menu, but I released it late, so I didn't open up the days till I released the menu.
Okay.
You see, but ideally, but it's not necessarily weekly. Like, there might be small changes, and sometimes, like, just because this is, like, kind of like a small operation, I might have, like, a salad on that isn't currently on, and I'll just, like, let someone know, hey, the farmer didn't have carrots this week, so I'm running beets instead. Do you want that,
Okay.
So, and there is sometimes, like, I might not get sweet potatoes, and it's just, like, I'll replace that with turnips, or, do, like, little, which fit in, but, like, aren't exactly, and I'll just, like, check with people. But the menu, there's a link in my bio that goes, it's a link tree that goes directly to the menu, and then also to the scheduling system.
Perfect.
So ideally, like, now we're back on track to where basically 7 days out you can book, and you can book either, like, that's as far in advance you can book, and up to 3 hours before, if there's openings, And this is the first week that it's been, like, not completely sold out. Usually by Sunday of the week before, the whole week is pretty much fully booked.
Okay.
So it's
awesome.
Usually, and people kind of know that system, like the regulars, like if they want on Wednesday, they're on Wednesday before to place their order and stuff.
Okay. Have you had any, I love the combinations you're choosing with toppings, and I actually tagged a friend of mine because she frequently engages in the debate on Twitter about if pineapple is a worthy pizza topping. But have you had any combinations that have stood out that are especially a big hit with everybody?
I mean, so when designing the menu, I kind of, like, wanted things that, like, a lot of times, like, before COVID and stuff like that, like, as, like, a chef at a fine dining restaurant, we try to, like, almost overthink things and, like, really, like, make it something that's conceptual and also tasty and seasonal. And with this, it was just more, like, fun.
Yeah.
So it's, like, I just, like, thought about, like, the things that I think people just want, And so all the pizzas, they're named after musicians. Like,
okay.
A lot of them, I use their full name instead of their stage name. So, like, or, like, a play on it. So, like, Bob Marley is Robert Marley. There's Jerry Garcia, Bob Weir, like, all that. So, and Rob Marley was a vegan. So our, like, vegetarian pizza is the Bob Marley.
Awesome.
And so, like, that has, like, a demographic that, like, it's, like, heavy vegetables, kale, sweet potato. It has pine nuts, like, it's filling, but there's no meat, and then there's pickled mushrooms for some savoriness. So there's people who just love that one. And then people do love pineapples, so the is which is pineapple bacon and all that stuff. And then the other one, the Frank Sinatra, is really popular, which is just a garlic base with gorgonzola dolce, balsamic soaked figs, and then when it comes out of the oven, we just lay prosciutto on top, and then like fresh mustard greens and grate a bunch of cheese. So it's like somewhere in between a salad and a pizza, because it's like so much lettuce on top after it comes out with that like raw prosciutto. So, and then like people just want pepperoni pizzas, they want cheese, and then our margarita is Jimmy Buffett, from Margaritaville.
Awesome.
So and that's our number one seller, is the margarita. I think people, like the design of this pizza was like, I want to do a thicker crust that can hold up to a lot of toppings, and like what I thought was what I would do if I ever had a pizza restaurant was not this. It was like Neapolitan wood fire, super simple, classic Neapolitan pizza. And like cooking out of your home oven, you just can't do that. So it kind of just shifted how I was going to do it. And then it kind of just grew into, it's like, I think this is what people really want, or at least there's a lot of people who want this. Like, and the margarita is a heavier top margarita. There's definitely more mozzarella, heavier sauce. It's not like just little spots. And I do put shredded mozzarella on every single pizza. So there's like burrata and or mozzarella for that nice like cheese, but then for that like binding and just to keep everything solid, there's like fresh or shredded, whole milk mozzarella on every single pizza.
Oh, my mouth is watering. I'm going to try to not drool all over myself. And now you mentioned you have ice cream. So talk about that. Perfect time. It's getting hot.
It's something I always liked, and I just thought it's easy as well, because how we do it, it's in these little tumblers, so they're pre-portioned in the tumbler. So like you could literally just text or DM me and be like, yo, I want some ice cream, and I can just top it and run it down. So it's not like the whole scheduling pre-order thing. And then also you can just add it to your orders, if you do schedule. But I brought Melissa, who was pastry and garmager, which is like the cold stuff at the Savoy. I brought on her to help me, and she's amazingly talented. She was like on the junior Olympic team, like that they got like 10th in the world for like last year at the Junior Olympics for culinary, and she's the pastry chef of the Junior Olympic team. So like super driven, super fun to work with. And then, so she's kind of running that program, and we'll just talk through what flavors we want to do. And so it's like, right now we have chocolate malt chip with brown butter, Rice Krispie treats, some like stewed Bing cherries, and then whipped cream. So it's like a sundae-y, We got biscotti. It's a coffee biscotti dough. So instead of like a cookie dough ice cream, we just took like biscotti dough and fold that into the ice cream.
Yes.
And then that's topped with like some actual little biscottis and whipped cream. And then we're doing like a basil watermelon sorbet that's topped with some mezcal marinated watermelon rind.
Oh my gosh. Holy cow.
So it's like just like fun. Like that's like the whole idea of, I think, everything Observation Pizza is like familiar flavors, and like things that are comforting, but like not necessarily elevate them, but just like kind of just maybe add a couple touches. Like, like the pizzas, I do some fine dining stuff like finishing salt and, a little drizzle of finishing oil when they come out of the oven, and some like grated cheese, like some little touches that really just make it different than like your average, whatever pizza that you're getting,
Awesome.
We brush every crust with bacon fat if there's meat on it, like just like brush the crust with bacon fat.
Yes. Okay. Sold. I'm sold. And did I see real quick that you keep the ice cream at an even lower temperature so it can withstand a little travel time?
Right. So yeah, usually you serve ice cream around 0 to 5 degrees, and we hold the freezer in between -20 and -10.
Awesome.
So that yeah, like the tumbler, you have time to like get it home. So I even had a friend test it, and basically it's about 20 minutes. So like if you pick up pizza and ice cream, and then you're within 20 minutes from your house, you can get it home, go put it in your freezer, eat your pizza, and then pull it out. and it should be good to go. So it tempers basically on the drive home, and
Sure.
softens. So that's the one thing, is if you are coming and you want to eat on the street or something, it might take a second. It will be like rock hard, when you get it. So you could also message and be like, hey, I'm going to eat it on the street, and I'll just, which I've done, just put it in the refrigerator for 10, 20 minutes before you come, so it's tempered.
That's so awesome. Nick, before we go, I know you're obviously super busy. I love how you're spending your time. But as downtown continues to slowly reopen, do you have a couple favorite spots downtown, bars or restaurants that you're looking forward to getting back to?
It's downtown. I don't know if Antler Room is downtown enough.
Yes, we do classify it. Yep.
All right. Well, that is my spot. If I'm gonna go, either I just sit at the bar or just have a course meal, special dinner. I love Nick and Leslie. They're some of the best people in the industry in the city. And they're there every day. So that and then Lucky Boys, whenever that's my bar. There's a couple of my buddies own that spot, so whenever they're open, definitely can't wait to just kind of have that normalcy of sitting at Lucky Boys after a long day.
Right. Oh, I can't wait to pull up a stool at the bar. I'm getting excited. So, well, Nick, thank you. This is so cool. I can't wait to get my pizza. I'm sure everybody else is hungry. So please look out for some Downtown Dish friends very soon. And thanks for being on the show today. A new shopping experience is popping up this weekend in the River Market, as if you needed more shopping with the city market right there, but this is going to be so cool. Shops on Delaware, a pop-up this Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. right there at 4th and Delaware in the heart of the River Market neighborhood. You're going to see booths and exhibits from local makers, artists, crafters, and much more, so you can browse, buy, have a great time. And once you're done, maybe hit up one of the newly reopened patios for a bite or a drink, maybe Il Lazzarone, maybe Tribe, and of course City Market has that wonderful array of restaurants just a walk away.
She said, "Baby, you a star."
Here at the Downtown Dish, we want to continue to put the spotlight on Black-owned businesses here in Kansas City. Now, last week we recommended a couple of smartphone apps, KC Soul and Black Privilege, both of which include business directories as part of their features. Wanted to bring another site to your attention this week. This is the Buy Black Empowerment Initiative at buyblackkc.org, which also includes a huge business directory that's a wonderful resource. Here at the Downtown Dish, we've put together another list for you. These are Black-owned food and drink businesses in the downtown Kansas City area. So we'd love for you to use this list as you're planning your upcoming meals and outings. And wanted to also give you a final reminder, in case you didn't already see it. Friend of the show, Danielle Lehman, created Curbside KC, which is a metro-wide directory of restaurants. They now also have a Black-owned restaurant filter, so you can categorize restaurants again throughout the entire metro area and plan your next meal. Be sure to share where you're eating and drinking with us and our hashtag, DowntownDishKC. I am so excited to be joined today on the Downtown Dish by Shay Moore. You might recognize that beautiful voice from Hot 103 Jam. She is the co-host of The Morning Grind. Shay, welcome to the Downtown Dish.
Well, thank you for having me, Katie. I'm so excited to be talking with you. It's so good to see your face after so long.
It's so good to see your face. I'm so glad that we connected last year. And I was so excited to have you on today because I caught wind on Twitter that you are doing some important work with the American Jazz Museum in the 18th and Vine District. Can you tell us about it?
Definitely. I am a volunteer board member on the American Jazz Museum's board. Mm-hmm. And it's so important that we not only highlight and maintain the history of jazz in Kansas City, but we've got to introduce it to a new generation of folks. And that's why I decided to join the board. We've got a healthy history among the older Kansas Cityans, but the younger Kansas Cityans have to understand the value of the museum and the music.
Absolutely. And so, Shay, correct me if I'm wrong, but the museum at this time, is it still closed to the public because of the pandemic?
It will be opening on Tuesday.
Okay, breaking news.
And with the new executive director, Rashida Phillips, who was actually named just a couple of months ago, she hasn't had an opportunity to really meet the community because as soon as she got here, the pandemic happened. So this will be a great opportunity for folks in Kansas City to bring their kids and relearn the museum and get a chance to meet the new executive director who has a lot of wonderful things planned for the city.
Awesome. And you are leading some fundraising efforts. Did I see that correctly online?
Yes. So during the pandemic, the Jazz Museum, of course, is not able to take in any funds from people coming to visit the museum, but there's still work that has to be done, people that still need to be paid. So I put up on all of my social media a campaign to raise some money to be able to benefit the museum in that way. So my initial goal was $1,000, and I have about $260 right now that I've been able to raise. But I'm asking folks, because, I've got over 5,000 followers on Facebook. I've got almost 6,000 on Instagram and a lot on Twitter as well. So I've been asking everybody if you can just give me $5, $2, $3. We can kind of crowdfund this thing to be able to help an institution that does so much great work in Kansas City.
Well, and I love that. And I want to make sure everybody watching knows one of the things that I love the most about you. It's hard to pick a few, but you have not been in Kansas City all that long, a few years, right?
This is true. It'll be 5 years in September. I'm so excited to make that milestone because I really feel like as soon as I got here, I found a home. The people always embraced me and made me feel welcome. And we've been able to do a lot of great things together.
I love it. And that's what I love is you came here from Atlanta, just dove right in. You've got a podcast. How's that going?
The podcast is going good. It's kind of been on a little hiatus
just
because of the coronavirus. But once this goes away, I'm going to be picking it back up because the podcast is all about Kansas City.
Yep.
The cool people, the fun things to do. And I want to continue to highlight those stories. It's so important. Sometimes as people, we tend to forget exactly what we have. I remember going to Colorado one time and I was in awe of the Rockies that were in the distance and people were walking around and couldn't even see it.
Right.
Like, how do you get to the point where you don't even recognize the Rockies right there?
Right.
So I think people, when you live somewhere for so long, you forget about the beauty and the majesty in the city that you live in. And I think that happens sometimes to Kansas City. And so that's why this podcast is to remind you, no, we live in a really great city. And here are some of the things that you probably want to take a look at.
Well, I love that, and I'm glad you're here to remind us of that. We will definitely help spread the word of your fundraising campaign. We will distribute links to help boost that. So glad to hear that the American Jazz Museum is soon reopening. And before we let you go, I know that part of your really just sinking your teeth into Kansas City, just making this your home, is you've just such a champion for local businesses. And I wonder if you have just a couple of downtown restaurant recommendations that you could share, restaurants that people can put on their radar for either dine-in or carry-out service.
My favorite restaurant is Tavernona, and the head chef is Chef Bryant Wigger. And he's from Missouri originally. He went off and spent about 20 years in California honing his skills at some of the best 5-star restaurants. And he's now back in town. This restaurant is inside the Hotel Phillips. The ambiance is beautiful. The food is absolutely delicious. He gets a lot of the ingredients locally sourced, and you can just tell the difference between locally sourced meats and vegetables and produce than when it's been in the truck, driving for days.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
that's my favorite restaurant. I also want to encourage folks to check out Soiree.
Yes.
On 18th and Vine. Shouts out to the head chef and owner, Chef Anita, She is absolutely wonderful. She had another business in Smithville, and now she's brought her cuisine to Kansas City, and her food is divine. They've got awesome drinks. She's got a brunch on Sundays that you've got to check out as well.
Awesome. Well, yes, and we are planning to have her on the show very soon, so stay tuned for that. Shay, thank you. I know you've got a crazy schedule. I so appreciate you pulling up a chair with us at the Downtown Dish. We will do everything we can to support you in your efforts, and come back and say hi anytime.
Thank you so very much, and your hair looks fabulous, darling. I love it.
Thank you. Try to keep it up, but yes.
Baby, you got it going on. I'm just letting you know that right now.
Thank you. Thank you again so much, Shay. So good to see you.
Yes, we got to meet up soon.
Yes, please.
Pulled over with a sawed off, but the cops
And that
found
brings us to the end of another episode of the Downtown Dish. Here's what I'm thinking. It's Friday afternoon now, summer Friday. Let's just kick back the rest of the weekend. But I do hope you join me next week, because we are bringing you the Downtown Dish's first ever all restaurant episode. So you are going to get the scoop from several downtown restaurants. Can't wait to hear what they have to say. In the meantime, I'm going to kick back with my KC Wineworks wine. Let me know what you're drinking, and I hope to see you back next week here at the Downtown Dish. Cheers.
Can make you say